Hi everyone and welcome to English for You. I'm Pat.
And I'm Kat.
And today is all about going to the library.
Woohoo!
Before we get into that, are you a big reader?
Sometimes not. I guess it depends on if I have anything particular that I want to read about.
Okay.
How about you?
I would say yes. These days I don't have time, you know? Like it's hard to build in time. But
Yeah.
I certainly did read a lot all through my life. I probably read a little less now than I used to, just because I'm too busy. But yeah, I would still say I'm a big reader. I love books. Do you have an e-reader?
I don't. If I want to read a book that I don't have a physical copy of, I'll usually just use my laptop or my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find the screen, certainly on a phone, like way too small for reading.
I'm used to reading on it.
Yeah, I got a Kindle e-reader when I was 30,
Nice.
so many years ago now. But I found it really useful because it just saves space. My apartment is not
That's
big
true.
enough for all the books I want, but my Kindle is. And it's
Yeah.
got a cover that opens so I can still kind of hold it like a normal book, and so it still keeps a lot of the feeling.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not discussing books, we're actually discussing libraries today.
Right.
So let's read through the article and find out what's going on.
Reading.
Visiting the local library. Will sees Nicole on the street.
Hi, Nicole. Wow, you're carrying a big pile of books.
Yes, I borrowed these books from the library, so now I'm returning them.
I can carry some for you. I'm on my way to the library, too.
Thanks. Let's walk together.
They arrive at the library.
So, what do you want to do here?
I need to check out some books for my science project on caterpillars and butterflies. I hope this library has the ones I need.
Let's look on the computer system and find out.
My teacher mentioned I should look for Butterflies in the Meadow by J.E. Watkins.
Okay, we'll search for that title and author in the library database. Here it is. And you're in luck. They have it.
It's in the Nonfiction section. I'll write down the call number so I can find it. What about you?
I'm going to browse the fiction sections for a while. I want some new books. Shall we meet back here in an hour?
Sure.
They separate.
So this article is a dialogue article. We've got two speakers, Will and Nicole.
Yep.
And we start with some description. We see that Will sees Nicole on the street.
Oh.
Somewhere outside, he runs into her and it's probably by accident.
Yeah, exactly. So Will says, "Hi, Nicole. Wow, you're carrying a big pile of books." Wow, so she must have something really big in her hands that she's carrying, and that is a pile of books. Now, pile here is a noun that's like one of those group nouns. It means a bunch of things that are all put on top of each other until they're very tall and often in sort of a messy way.
Yeah, it's not very neat and organized.
Right, so she might be carrying books that are put on top of each other, but maybe some of them are about to fall off, something like that. Often, you know, when you get your clothes in like the dirty laundry or you just put them on your bed and you're going to fold them, they are in a pile as well. They look kind of like a mountain.
Yes.
Or a pile of papers.
Yep.
Like if you've got a bunch of homework to do. We usually say a pile of something when we want to show that it's a lot of that thing. We can also say it about having a lot of something even if it's not something physical or not something that's actually put on top of each other.
That's right.
For example, I have a huge pile of homework to do this weekend, so I better get started on it.
Yeah, now it could be in a pile.
It could, but usually you're probably just talking about that you have a lot of it. Or an example that means an actual pile. The horse grabbed some hay from the pile in the corner and started to eat it.
Okay, so yeah, just a big kind of almost like a hill
Yeah,
of hay just sitting
exactly.
there. So Nicole is obviously a big reader, but these aren't books that she owns herself.
Right.
She says, yes, I borrowed these books from the library, so now I'm returning them, which of course is what you do. You borrow a book for a while and you return it, take it back when you have finished.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a good way to cut down on the number of books that you own at your house too.
Yeah, if you've got a big enough house for, bookshelves and bookshelves, great, fantastic. But sometimes you just want to go and borrow some and bring them back and not have them taking up all your space.
Exactly, and libraries are great for that. So Will says, I can carry some for you. What a nice guy. I'm on my way to the library too. Oh, that's a nice coincidence. Now, when we say we're on our way to somewhere, like Will just said, it means I'm going there right now. I've already started the trip, I'm in the middle of it, but I'm not quite there yet. So if a place is on the way to something, it's between the starting point and the finishing point. So like if you are going to school and you want to get some breakfast, you might say, let's go to the breakfast stand on the way to school.
So, Will has very kindly offered to carry some of Nicole's big pile of books because he's going to the same place as her. He's off to the library. And Nicole is very grateful for this. She says, thanks, let's walk together.
Yeah.
Yep, of course, makes sense.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, they're walking together, they're on their way to the library, and then they arrive at the library. So they are there now.
Okay, and we pick up the discussion, and Nicole asks Will, so, what do you want to do here? She's asking, like, what's your specific actual reason for coming to the library? Are you going to take out books? Are you going to do something else? What do you want to do here?
Yeah, because there's a bunch of different things you can do at a library. It's not only for borrowing books. You can also study, do some research. You could, I don't know, you can listen to music even. There are libraries that have CD collections.
That's right, and or little kind of movies. You could borrow movies from some libraries. And I remember when I was a kid going to libraries where they would have kind of special events. Somebody might come in and give a talk. A famous author or a reasonably famous author might stop by.
It's a community center more than it's just a place for books.
For books, exactly, yeah.
Okay, so Will says, I need to check out some books for my science project on caterpillars and butterflies. That sounds fun.
Pretty sciencey, yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you're trying to learn about something, a library is a really good place to go and check out some books. Now, check out here is a phrasal verb that is pretty specific to a library setting or a place where you borrow something. It means that you take some books to the counter and you record that you're borrowing them, and then you can take them with you. Now, check out can have a few different meanings, but also you can talk about things that you're buying. So if you're at a store and you're checking out with your groceries, that means you're taking your items to the counter.
Paying for them,
the
putting
person,
them in a bag.
Yeah, exactly.
It's called the checkout counter.
And so, when you're ready to leave a place with the things that you've got, they usually say, hey, let's go check out. Or if you want to say, let's check something out, that means let's go look at it. So that's a different meaning.
Yep, there's also the specific meaning for a hotel. When you check out, that's like, I'm officially leaving, I've taken everything out of my room, I'm paying, I'm handing back the room key, and you check in to get all that, and you check out when you leave. So a lot of different meanings for check out, depending on the context, the place, the circumstances.
But it's basically like leaving a place when you're done with everything.
Yeah, now in this case, of course, he means he wants to check out these books and take them with him, and then they'll record. These books are out of the library. That means nobody else can see them, depending if they only how many copies they have while he's got it. But what kind of book does he need? Well, he needs a book for his science project. A project is a piece of research work that a student does as part of their course. They learn a bunch of facts about it, and then they produce a report, an essay, something like that. You could talk about a group project when people are working together.
Those are pretty common.
Exactly. It's something you just do at school. It's not something you do quickly, usually. It's not like a one day, one class, my project's done. These usually take place over several days, maybe even several weeks, and they're usually worth quite a few marks. It's an important piece of work. Now, a project could also be anything that a person or a group does to achieve a particular aim. So we could talk about projects at home. Building a new piece of furniture, doing something in the garden, redecorating a bedroom. They're all projects. There are work projects, like a team could be designing a new phone or making and testing a new face wash, something like that, or setting up a new computer system. Those are all projects I've actually been involved in.
Interesting.
Anything of these could be a project. But let's get back to the school use. Our example sentence is, for my history class project, I have to write a report about the Japanese Empire.
Wow, that's a pretty big project. That spans a lot of time, so you could write it on almost any time.
Exactly.
So anyway, yeah, projects can be about anything, and Will's is about caterpillars and butterflies, so he's looking for books on it, of course. He needs to find out some information. He says, I hope this library has the books I need.
Well, Nicole is going to help him with that. She says, let's look on the computer system and find out.
Good idea.
So here we talk about a computer system. And in this case, a system is a set of computer programs and linked computers that are often used for a single purpose or by a single place, like a school's computer system or a hospital's computer system. They're not just personal computers everybody uses, they have special functions that are needed for that work environment. We can also use the word system for any set of things that work together as part of a network or a single connected whole working item. Like our heart and lungs and blood, they're all part of one of the systems in our body. Here's another example. The doctor looked at the patient's notes on the hospital's computer system.
All right, so yeah, he's got to do his project on butterflies, caterpillars. Nicole suggested looking it up on the computer system. And libraries have a very specific computer system that numbers all of the books. So Will says, my teacher mentioned I should look for Butterflies in the Meadow by J.E. Watkins. Yeah, so when you're looking for a very specific book in the library, you want to make sure that you have a really good organizational
Exactly, because you could be walking around the shelves looking for that thing
for
hours.
Yeah.
So going to a computer system is really the first place to start. But what do we mean by look for?
Right, when you're looking for something, that is a phrasal verb that means to search or to find something in a place. So you have something in your mind and you are trying to find it. You are looking for it. Now, often in stores when we say we need help, we say, I'm looking for a book on something, something like that. So that when you need help, you can say, I'm looking for this. That means we want something we already thought of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they sit down at the computer system and Nicole says, okay, we'll search for that title and author in the library database. Search basically kind of means the same as look for, which Kat just mentioned. It's to look for something in a very careful, very thorough way. And in the same way as look for, you have a specific object in mind. You're not just looking, you're looking for something. Okay. Now in this case we mean in a database or on the internet, so you're maybe filling out some fields like in a search engine like Google, Yahoo, or something more specific to what you're looking for, typing that thing in, hitting enter, and then you'll get a bunch of results hopefully that tell you where you can click to get this thing. And here's an example sentence for the verb search. Tommy searched online for a hotel to stay at on his vacation to Italy.
Exactly. So they have to search here by author. Now, the author is the person who writes a book, or more broadly, a person who writes articles, essays, poems, any sort of written work. The person who wrote it is called the author. Now, if you're also a person who writes books for a living, your job is called an author too. Now, it usually applies to books and stories when you call somebody an author. So if somebody writes poems, they're usually called a poet. Or a person who writes things online could be called an author, or they could be called a blogger or a copywriter. Now, if you write for newspapers and magazines, you could be called a writer and editor. And if you write plays, there's playwright.
Wow, a lot of different types of
Yeah,
writers.
lots of different types of authors. So, for example, Murakami Haruki is one of Japan's most popular living authors, and his books have been read all around the world. I've read a few of them myself.
I have not, unfortunately. No,
you should check it out.
I certainly will. Yeah. So here they're searching on a database. A database is a way of holding data and information and even documents in a computer. And the data is structured to make it very easy to organize and also very easy to search for information. Like each thing, each record of something you put in the database has the same characteristics. Author, maybe name of book, year it was published, type of book it is, all that kind of stuff, section of the library.
Right.
And so in a library database, you'd have all of this for every single book in the library. So when you search for something, you'll find all that important information about this book in one single place.
Yeah.
And you can search for lots of different things. So if you only know part of the information, you can find the rest.
Yeah, and when you find the information on the book, it will also tell you where to find it. So Nicole is looking for this book on butterflies in the meadow, and she says, here it is, and you're in luck. They have it. When somebody says you're in luck, it means that the thing you wanted to happen is just what happened, or the situation was just right and just what you wanted. We especially use saying in luck when you're looking for something hard to find or you want something that's a little hard to accomplish, and someone else or something else has that exact thing for you, like a certain book, and it's available. That means you've gotten very lucky and you're in luck. Now, when you're in luck, it means you have the thing you want, but when you're out of luck, that means that the thing you're looking for is just not possible.
Exactly.
It's too bad.
Okay, so back to the article, and Will is checking out the database information about the book he wants, and he says it's in the non-fiction section. Non-fiction is books or other media like TV shows about things that are true. So history, science, newspaper reports, all of these things are non-fiction.
Right.
Stories about real people's lives, like biographies, they are non-fiction. They're all true. These things happened.
Yeah, or books that give you information on things like how to do cooking or finance or things like that. If it's any sort of thing you can study, it's usually nonfiction. Yeah. So Will says, I'll write down the call number so I can find it. What about you? So now he's asking Nicole what she's looking for, but before that, he's writing down the call number. Now, when we talk about a call number, that is a number that marks what category a book is in and where you can find it. Every nonfiction book in a library has a call number that's somewhere between 0 and 1,000. This is called the Dewey Decimal System.
Cool.
And every 100 numbers is a different category.
So like history
or dictionaries.
Children's books.
Children's books are usually fiction.
In fiction.
Yeah,
okay.
so I used to work at a library. That's why, I have knowledge of this sort of thing.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll have history, you'll have maybe literature, classic literature, science, dictionaries and reference books, computers, all that sorts of things. They're all in different categories. They all have different call numbers. Now, he's writing down the call number because he's going to find it later. And what does Nicole want?
Well, she says, I'm going to browse the fiction sections for a while.
Oh, that sounds fun.
She's going to just kind of look around, because that's what browsing is. It's looking around without any real clear purpose. You're just seeing what kind of interesting things are in a particular place. So you could browse the shops for maybe, oh, the clothes look nice, or what have they got here? You could also use it with computers to kind of mean the same thing as surfing the web. You look online for interesting articles and videos just to see kind of what interests you.
Exactly.
Now here we also saw fiction books, and fiction is the opposite of the word we saw earlier, non-fiction. So fiction is books and other things about made-up people and places, events that never happened.
Right, so yeah, Nicole is at the library for a totally different reason. She wants to read for enjoyment. She says, I want some new books. She's finished all the ones that she's brought back. She wants to read some more. She says, shall we meet back here in an hour?
And Will says, sure.
Of course. And then they separate. Now, separate is a verb that means people go apart from each other. or when one thing turns into many things by splitting up, like a group. When people separate, usually they go to totally different places. But when couples separate, it means they're not together and they're not dating anymore and they're not a couple anymore. Yeah, so separate in this case, Will is going to nonfiction, Nicole is going to fiction. They are in different places. Here's an example sentence. The police separated into groups of 2 and searched the house for the killer.
Ooh, exciting.
Scary.
Okay, well, we'll find out how both Nicole and Will get on tomorrow, but right now we'll go to today's For You Chat question.
For You Chat.
So this article is all about going to the library to kind of find facts, and it's a little bit unusual maybe to think of doing that because
nowadays.
Nowadays, as we see in the chat question, most people these days use the internet to find out information. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this?
Well, there's a lot of advantages.
Yeah.
Like, it's very easy to find information on something that you want to know about. For example, if just a question pops in your head, like, what is this disease I heard about? And you want to learn about it, you can just do a quick search. And you'll immediately find out something. Even if it's not complete information, it'll at least let you know something small, or you can
general facts.
Yeah, or you can do even more research into it. I think the disadvantage is that not everything on the internet is true.
That is a problem, yes. You could go and find, I want to look up this thing, and I have this source that says A, and this source that says B, and this source that says C, and then further opinions and discussions about these sources.
Exactly.
Until you're completely confused, because some people may have put this information on there, kind of wrong information on purpose. You might remember For You's fake news article a few months ago that discussed these kinds of problems. So, the internet, it's quick, it's easy, it's almost always free unless you're getting like super scientific papers or
or
news
subscribing
articles
to
from
things.
certain sources, but you'll still be able to find lots and lots and lots of stuff on the internet. But the disadvantages are you never quite know what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. And also, I think some people prefer reading from paper too.
Yeah,
and computers can hurt your eyes.
I think it's also easy to distract yourself, like you may be reading about something you want to know about for a report, but the internet's right there, and it's kind of, you'll go and do other things or learn about something else or watch a video, and with a book, you've just got the book and you can stick with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have for today, but join us again tomorrow to see how Will and Nicole get on in their search for books. See you then. Bye for now.
Visiting the local library. Will sees Nicole on the street.
Hi, Nicole. Wow, you're carrying a big pile of books.
Yes, I borrowed these books from the library, so now I'm returning them.
I can carry some for you. I'm on my way to the library, too.
Thanks. Let's walk together.
They arrive at the library.
So, what do you want to do here?
I need to check out some books for my science project on caterpillars and butterflies. I hope this library has the ones I need.
Let's look on the computer system and find out.
My teacher mentioned I should look for Butterflies in the Meadow by J.E. Watkins.
Okay, we'll search for that title and author in the library database. Here it is. And you're in luck. They have it.
It's in the Nonfiction section. I'll write down the call number so I can find it. What about you?
I'm going to browse the fiction sections for a while. I want some new books. Shall we meet back here in an hour?
Sure.
They separate.
Vocabulary Review.
Pile. Tommy noticed the large pile of dirty clothes beside his bed and decided to wash them. Project. Kelly's project required her to write about Japanese history and present a report to her class. System. We're using a new electronic system in the office, so we don't have to use paper anymore. Search. My friend told me about Jolene Tsai. I searched for her music on the internet, and I really like it. Author. George was a well-known author of several books about Chinese history. Separate. Edward and Rita went shopping downtown, then separated when Rita had to go meet her friends.
智慧小补帖
Database. Browse.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net